Hello, everybody. Long time no see. It is great to see you all. I just had a quick question for you all. Hello. Has anyone wondered why, hello, we don't seem to have much coverage in Mosul? I was thinking about that as I was doing some quantum mechanics today. Ah, you are more than welcome, my friend. Lovely to see you. I am Gabsmack the Owl. Uncle Pompous is my uncle, and I am Uncle Pompous's nephew. I'm much more polite than Uncle Pompous, but I like to think about things. And while I was doing some quantum mechanics, I thought to myself, why is there no coverage of Mosul? It's quite interesting, considering that human Gabsmacked has been getting reports from the Iraqi Christian Relief Council. Interesting. Yes, I do believe that, and I have seen some on Arabic news. But I think that if anyone goes to my Twitter feed, you'll notice those advanced robots that the humans were mistreating. If anyone goes and has a look at those, I think that the American government might be testing some of their military robots or robotic warfare. And it's a perfect opportunity since there's no media in there conveniently. And what's interesting, the part that I find really interesting is that the media is not complaining that they're not reporting from there. That's the part that interests me. Normally when the media can't get in, especially with Trump in the White House, they're very upset. And yet they're not upset about not going to Mosul. Gets me thinking. I don't really know the answer, but I just was wondering whether maybe some of you guys might know. Yeah, I'm much more serious than Uncle Pompous. Danish journalists are there. Interesting. They show on TV. Interesting. What are they showing at this point? You are more than welcome, James Joseph, 1981. James Joseph, who's probably around 36 years of age. Periscope map for Mosul. Yeah, I spoke to one guy who was Kurdish, but he was just on the edge. Hey, fantastic. There was a building still holding warriors. Interesting. They could do as you say. This is my thinking, because where else would Mad Dog Mattis be able to test robotic warfare? Because if anyone knows, robotic warfare started to come out in about 2008. And if you still haven't gone yet to my Twitter feed and seen the robots, you can go there and have a look. It's a 3-minute video. Reporters were at least 300 meters away. Interesting. 300 meters away from what exactly? Twitter, same as Periscope. Look for Gabsmacked. Because those little warriors, yeah, this is my thinking. We haven't heard of any American casualties, but that doesn't mean anything really. You're permanently banned from Twitter? What are you doing to get permanently banned? Where there supposedly should be warriors left still. Interesting. Yes, this bear is an owl. Who, me? Yes, who? Haha. A few days ago, interesting. The other thing that was interesting is how if anyone goes to Clarion Project what a hoot, absolutely. Clarion, conservative guy on Twitter. Yeah, that can happen. Okay, welcome. ClarionProject.org. If anyone wants to see the latest with ISIS off the deep web, which is very important. It's how, for example, I was able to find the attack on the Coptics of Egypt before it happened. And I gave a scope on that, actually, a private scope. Well, I started reading about them in 2008, and there are Exo Robots and internal artificial intelligence robots. Dangerous thing to watch on Twitter, possibly. Hilarious. Anyway, yeah. So, you just saw the robot video. Spies, in other words. No, they're robotic machinery which can murder specific humans. Yeah, clarionproject.org. That's correct. They are brilliant. That's where I get all of my news about ISIS. Our future overlords is so true. Yeah. So the Clarion Project is many of you original supporters of the Gabsmacked, together we were doing our private scope, which is still on YouTube, but it's hidden, about the statement of ISIS about wanting to kill the Christians in Egypt. Clarion, it is just the name of an organization. They still count. Real robots who kill you. Anyway, so basically they showed the latest murder by ISIS of their own people. And normally that starts to happen when an organization is decaying, which is consistent with what is happening now in Mosul, which is no longer being reported. And who knows if it's still in Mosul or in other areas now. Yeah, go on to Gab. Very interesting. There was another report that came out today that you poor white people are destined to become the minority within 2 generations. Hello. Yes, always a pleasure. Pompous, my uncle Pompous is a lot more popular with the ladies because he just has this not give a beep attitude. Well, if you like, I don't know if anyone here wants to know. There is a Facebook page of mine. Then came ISIS. What the hell will come after them? There's a Facebook page of mine called the Greater Syrio-Aramaic Community, and I post things from there that come live from Mosul, from the Christian Eastern Orthodox churches. So things about the latest in kidnappings, the latest in ransom payments. There was a little baby girl returned recently to her family, a Christian little baby girl, about 6 or 7 years old. But basically the family had to give up everything they own. What was interesting is that a few weeks ago, you probably heard that a computer that learnt how to play poker without being programmed was able to, within 1 week, beat the 4 best poker players in the world. And in fact, it became so good that the 4 best poker players had to learn new moves from the computer. Isn't that scary? Oh, you're watching the video. Interesting. Yeah, how'd they get their daughter back? They gave up everything they owned. In fact, I'm trying to interview this Iraqi refugee because, as you guys know, human Gabsmacked is visiting some ancient Syriac churches in Sydney where there are a lot of refugees, Christian refugees from Iraq. The computers are learning very quickly. So, by the way, the Tesla vehicle, which is owned by Elon Musk in Australia, is every time one Tesla is too low for a speed hump, it tells all of the rest of the Teslas. So overnight, all the Teslas wake up in the morning. It would be good to interview them. Yeah, I would love to. I'm gonna try and keep asking. So over the next morning, all the Teslas learn all of which humps are too high for the Tesla cars. And so when they go near them, the cars raise themselves over the speed humps. I don't know if this is happening in America, but it's happening in Sydney. It's pretty damn crazy. And they're all learning. So basically all of them are learning all of the driving errors of all of the other drivers. Yes, it's a hive mind. That's exactly right. And Tesla is a hive mind. So all the new Teslas are learning the mistakes of the other Tesla drivers. And overnight, they learn all the new streets and corners and everything in Sydney. And they are learning faster than a human can learn in years of driving. They're learning every night. So they're getting smarter and smarter and smarter. And now they actually drive safer than almost every human on the planet. So within 5 years, I reckon, once the government catches up, there'll be no more steering wheels. Most powerful tool ever, absolutely. Pretty crazy. So warfare will be automated too, I think, which is why this is why they're testing it on ISIS. Yes. ISIS got their name. Yeah, no. ISIS is what do you call it? Islamic State of Iraq and Syria. It's an acronym. It actually comes from the Arabic Daesh. Daesh is Dawlat al-Iraq wa Sham, which means the state of Iraq and Sham, which is the old name for Syria. They don't like to be called Daesh because Daesh is a secular name. It means Dawlat al-Iraq wa Sham, right? Which is the state of Iraq and Syria. Whereas they like to be called Dawlatul Islamiyya, which means the state of Islam or the Islamic States. That is the difference. There you go. Yeah. They prefer to be a religious state, not a secular state. Irrespective of the fake left wanting to say, no, they don't really believe. Syria is Sham, like the son of Noah Sham. Yes, it is. That's why they're called Ahlu Shamiyya, which means the people of Shem. That's where the name Semitic comes from. Ash-Shamiyin. Shem, no, Shem, S-H-E-M. In fact, that's where the Semitic word for name comes from. So Shmoch is your name, or Shmach in Hebrew, your name. In Arabic, it's Ismak, which is a next derivative because Hebrew and Syriac were second generation languages. But Arabic is a third generation, so it has evolved from Aramaic, from Western and Eastern Aramaic actually. For example, tablitho is Syriac for table, which is where you get the English word tablet. And when in Western Syriac it becomes tawlitho, which becomes an Arabic tawila. Yes, I think I'm very much smarter than Uncle Pompous. With any elite we ever approached, sorry. Yeah, I was approached today actually by the head of an organization. Am I here? Hey, hello everybody. Yeah, so I was approached today by this guy that's going to become a multimillionaire, and he's developing a cure for dry eyes using artificial intelligence, and he wanted to know whether I could help him with the mathematical programming. And I said to him, I'm sure there are many at the university, and then he left. So maybe he thought I meant I didn't want to work with him. I wasn't sure. And Liran asked something as well. He said something about the robots. Oh, yes, there's no report of them being used, but that's what I find bizarre. Why is it that for the last 8 years they were talking about these robots in all of these military magazines, only to not use them? It seems to me, and I'm only speculating, so please, this is just a wild, wild guess, but it seems to me that the reason no media is there is because America is using ISIS as a guinea pig for their robotic army prototypes. That is my thinking. What do you guys think, huh? Yeah, this is my thoughts. I mean, if you look at it, like, how did they stop the Orlando shooting? They used a nothing. It was just a robotic drone. Could you use them in Afghanistan? I wouldn't be surprised. I think at the moment Afghanistan has too much media coverage. In Dallas they use it. Interesting. Well, I think like there's even the exoskeletons were developed years ago. Those are quite interesting. I've seen those in magazines, the prototypes. When they used the Moab, it didn't. All right. Absolute pleasure, Gin Tonics. I'm going to go too because I have to go to Gabversity and talk about the mathematics of Hilbert spaces, which we will need for quantum mechanics. It's going to blow your mind because 2 times 2 does not always equal 4. Now I'm going to be doing quantum mechanics. Always a pleasure. Absolutely. Well, it doesn't even need to be conscious. Just like the computer in China that was able to, after Rob's experiment, yeah, it could be. Likewise, my brother, always a pleasure. Yeah. Blockchains will bring complete cybersecurity? No, I don't think so, because the government will never want you to have complete cybersecurity, because that would be very dangerous for them. That's my thinking. Which is why in military intelligence there are people assigned to hacking into every single app that exists. How do I know this? I don't. All I know is that I obtained a scholarship to work in military intelligence, and I scored the highest marks in military history in Australia. But I wasn't allowed in because of my background, which is not the best. Anywho, lovely to see you all. So, by the way, 2 times 2 is not always 4. We just think it is in middle world. But when you shrink down into quantum mechanics, it breaks down. Hackers have this early competition. It's pretty cool, but it's probably a blessing. Oh no. Oh no. And hackers help evolve them. Yeah, I'm sure. Well, people in intelligence are just basically government employed hackers, as opposed to hacks. Two different things. Hacks are called most politicians on both sides. All right, guys. I have to take Adult Gab to Gabversity. And thank you for hanging out while he was pedaling on his exercise bike. Stay away from the government. Yes, well, I don't think they like me very much. If anyone Googles me, you'll know why, even though it's all bullshit. It is a pleasure. Lovely to see you all.